Let's move on now. Actually, Edelweiss has written a very interesting report on Indian PSUs. They now expect a change in fortune for these PSU companies after being a value trap for over a decade. So we have Aditya Narayan of Edelweiss joining us now to talk about this report. Aditya, good morning and thanks for being with us. It's very interesting. You say that PSUs have been value traps in 2010s, flat for a decade. In stark contrast to being value creators in the 2000s. So what are you trying to say now? From now over the next 10 years, do you think PSUs will once again become value creators for investors? And if yes, within the PSU packet, what looks the most attractive now?
Morning. Yeah, so what we are really saying is that through 2000 to 2010, when you had an expansion in the economy, you had a reflationary cycle that happened globally. The PSUs tended to do very, very well, given the nature of their businesses, given the structures of their balance sheets, right? And 2010 to 2020 was an entirely different story. It was somewhat contractionary, it was somewhat deflationary, and the starting point from a valuation perspective was typically very, very high. So what we are saying now is that you're tending to get into an entirely different cycle. You are seeing the so-called reflation of global economies happen. You're seeing the reflation of commodities typically tending to happen. And you have a situation where these stocks, which, in 2010, they were trading at a premium to the market. Today, they're trading at about a 60% discount to the market. So you have an entirely different scenario. So I think there are two elements to it, or I'd say three elements. One, it's likely to be back to a more inflationary cycle. Secondly, balance sheets in terms of their expansions have probably tended to peak out. And thirdly, from a valuation perspective, you were at premiums and now you are at huge discounts. So that sets you up for a reasonably decent cycle for the PSUs. Now, whether it's going to be a decade or not, that's far too aggressive to call. But clearly, in terms of the cycle, I think there should be fundamentally a reasonable change.
Aditya, good morning. One very interesting thought that I have, perhaps you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that if you look at quasi PSUs, like companies like IGL or MGL, where there's no direct government ownership, but other PSUs owning that, they have done well, and they have done well both from stock point of view and from a results point of view. But the companies with direct government holding, they are the ones which struggle. They are not as consistent. Would that be the right observation?
So I think that's a reasonable observation, and we split it up differently in terms of the classes of companies that we think will do well going forward amongst the PSUs, right? The first are the structural stories, which is what you refer to, which is the gas companies, which is some of the transportation companies, which are monopolies, right? Now these guys have done reasonably well, and we think they will continue to do fundamentally fairly well. The second lot, which falls under the category that you mentioned, which is under more direct government control, a lot of those have tended to be fairly cyclical also in terms of the nature of their business. Whether you look at the metal space, whether you look at, most importantly, the refining space. And I think that is where we are tending to make a much larger call, that you do have an uptake from a cyclical perspective. And some of these companies, particularly the refining ones, even though they remain under reasonable government control, should have a reasonable uptake, right? And the third bit that we actually classify is those where we believe that you're seeing a balance sheet reset or a balance sheet improvement. These are also companies, in your words, which have been under more government control. I think there, whether it is some of the banks or whether it is the utility companies, I think you have seen the peaking out in terms of the restructuring that was required. So that is a play that should also tend to come through. I think there are two other important parts in terms of our thinking. Firstly, in terms of government control, the start of the last decade in 2010, government ownership was about 80% for these companies. This has actually come down to about 57% at this point in time. So I think there, to some extent, that control has moderated, and you could see a little bit more moderation with divestments or sales that are lined up. The other element really has been in terms of capital activity, right? So I think the last 10 years have also seen a fair amount of a fair amount of divestments, which have lowered government ownership from 80% at that point in time to 57%. That, along with a certain amount of dividend payouts and capital buybacks, which have tended to happen. I think a lot of that is probably in the past. And so, to address your bigger question, government involvement, could it be a hamper going forward? At some level, it could be. It is a risk. But I think a lot has changed. A lot has happened over the last decade for that to be less of an influence going forward.
Okay. All right. So, two quick questions, Aditya. PSU banks, where do they stand? That's the first question.
So PSU banks also stand in the balance sheet restructuring trade, right?
Is it a buy?
And we would be more comfortable with those at the top end, where you've got much more capital infused, where the government is much more determined to actually see them as engines of growth and engines of ownership, right? And of course, the fact that I think in many senses you have an economic cycle that is also tending to revert. So I think it tends to be a combination of this. Within the banking space, I think a lot more focus, both from capability perspective, franchise perspective, and to some extent government support perspective, also lies in the top 2 or 3 of the government banks. So I think there again, it will be broken up within the space with a focus at the higher end of it.
Well, actually, we have run out of time, not out of questions, but that's the most interesting report. Aditya, thank you for that, and thank you for joining us today. Over to you, Anuj. We are not any the wiser.
There's a typical expiry day playing out, Lata, with many moves. But what is clear is that traders are focused on individual